day. My name is Melanie Leigh Warner, and I'm a transformational certified health coach and co-creator of Stretch Beyond Impossible. And I am so excited to share with you today some tips to help you gain focus, propel you into action, create more of what you want in your life and less of what you don't. So I'm going to dive right in and share my presentation. I have some slides that I want to make sure that you can be fully present for. So I've included my email address below, info@beyondimpossible.com, so that if you email me there, I will make sure that I send you the presentation slides so that way you can be fully present to get the most out of this presentation. Because today we're going to cover tips to take back the power within, to create focus, and to fearlessly pursue the life that you envision. So I'm going to cover 5 keys to unlocking that power within and creating that life that you desire. I'm going to cover 4 components to achieve long-lasting change and success. And I'm going to produce that blueprint that you need to get into action to become that dominant force in your life. So who is this presentation for? Those who want tomorrow to be different, right? Now you can want change, but not know how to make it happen. You can have the overwhelm or busyness or tiredness to not have the capacity to make it happen, right? You cannot have the belief that it's possible to change. You cannot have the follow through to consistently make it happen so that this change sticks. Who has made a New Year's resolution that they didn't commit to fully and they didn't make it happen? So it only lasted a couple of days, right? So whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. I'm going to show you how to harness the power within to achieve what you desire, and faster and with less effort. So don't miss. I'm going to really share with you decades of knowledge, right? Multiple degrees that I've achieved, decades of working with clients and helping others. Because if I can do it, you can do it. And if I've done it, I can teach you how to do it. And now I've even taught others how to teach others how to do it too. So you always have a choice, right? You can do nothing, or you can take a step forward, even a tiptoe in the right direction, right? Because nothing changes if you change nothing. So I'm going to share the formula to success, right? The 5 keys to unlocking the power within and to create what you desire in your life. So what's the first one? It's to decide. The power of decision is so real. So decide what you want. And then get lean, eliminate what no longer serves you, and create space for what you desire in your life, right? And then take action. Take one step and then another and get that momentum ball rolling, right? And then align. Get into alignment, right? Align those goals to your values and to what really matters most to you. Why does it matter, right? And then commit. Consistently committed action is focusing on the progress and not the outcome. That's how you gain success. So I want to start with a centering breath, okay? I want to do inhale and an exhale together. Play along, okay? Maybe you needed that. I know that helps me get centered. Each breath is an opportunity, an invitation, if you will, that provides a blank canvas, right? Regardless of what's happened in the past, your future is a blank canvas. And it's waiting for you to pick up the brush and to become that dominant force in your life, to create a magnificent masterpiece that's your life. Look at the colors and how vibrant this is. Remember how it was just blank and white before, right? You can do that. Anything is possible. So remember that power within. It's an invisible power. And here you hold it in your hands. You can see it in this image, right? Think about it like that. And it's up to you what you do with this power. The future will be the results of the decisions that you make today. So I want to use this visualization of someone pulling back a bow and arrow to hit a target, right? You can't hit a target you can't see. So imagine being this person blindfolded trying to hit a target, not likely going to succeed, right? Same thing, there's a picture to the right where it's clarity, right? And some of it's foggy and some of it's such in focus that it's so crystal clear, right? That is the image that we want, right? We want that clear, crystal clear image. It's like a GPS. If you put into your GPS that you want to go to a certain location, but you don't put the right state in, you're probably not going to make it there, right? So we want to get really specific. We want to get so crystal clear that we're able to achieve, to hit that target, to get to that GPS location, right? So goal setting, right? Setting your goals is the first step to turning the invisible into the visible, right? To align that arrow to hit that target. And the most important part that I want to point out to you is before you take all that effort to pull that bow back, to propel that arrow into the target, you want to make sure that you have a clear idea of where you're shooting. So you're not just blindly shooting and wasting energy. We want to be efficient, right? We want to make it happen. So I'm going to go over a bunch of tips to take back that power within. And here's an outline. And again, if you email me, I'll send you these slides. But I want to dive right in and talk about the first step, which is really pausing, right? Stop what you're doing. Change your environment. Get a drink, right? Take a deep breath. Count back from 10 backwards. Really focus on that breath. We want to connect the body to the mind. We want to lower that heart rate. We want to be really present and conscious so you can slow down. You have to slow down to speed up. So often we have to give ourselves time to investigate, to analyze, to really understand what we're thinking and feeling so that it can lead us to that potential solution. Because if we're not clear inside, if we don't do the work inside, we're never going to get the results we want on the outside, right? So here's a bunch of questions that I kind of outlined here because the answers to these questions can really help us gain control of our feelings, right? So that instead of leaving them to be in control of us, we can start to get that perception that we need to create the experience or the outcome that we're looking for. So I want to really talk about getting clear, right? When there's a lack of clarity, people waste time and energy, right? Remember that bow and arrow that I was talking about? If you don't have a clear idea of your target, you're just wasting that energy. So all of us can get paralyzed by being overwhelmed or having a lack of focus. So we need to get clear. So I've written some questions down that might help you to do this, right? What do you desire? Write it down. What does this matter to you, right? Why does it matter? What does this mean to you? Is it a fact or is it a story? So often we feel something and we think that it's true, but it's only because of the story that we told ourselves. So it's not based on fact. What are your expectations, right? What do you want out of this? And where's your focus? Is it on the outside or the inside where the power is? Are you listening to the other voices and what they want? Or are you listening to the power within, right? Where your focus goes, your energy flows. So get clear, decide what you want, and bring your goals into focus. I use these 4 key things with all of my clients, and it's very powerful to create what you desire, right? We want to get clear. So we want to set it, we want to write it, we want to share it, and we want to see it. So these are a bunch of examples to make that possible for you. And there's many more, but this is what I've found really works. So we want you to decide what you want, right? Create that desire, that passion, emotionalize it, right? Really think about it. Inspire you every time you think about it to get into action, right? Put a date on it, some time that you need to accomplish it by, so you don't procrastinate, right? Write it. When you do the act of writing it down, you're more likely to succeed. So up your odds, right? But keep it positive. We really want to make sure that you're not focusing on what you don't want, and you're not focusing on what you want to get rid of or what habit you want to break, but instead what you want to gain, what you want to create, what you want to achieve. That's what you want to write down, right? So share it. Speak it into existence. Get an accountability partner, live it out loud. This is where you begin to believe it, right? When you start sharing it, it starts becoming more real. And when you believe it, you can achieve it, right? The next thing is you want to see it. Your brain thinks in pictures, not words. So it's so powerful to use a vision board, right? To put pictures of things that inspire you to achieve what you desire, right? Sometimes this is making a goal map, right? This might be mapping out the steps that you need to take to get to your goal, but that's oftentimes words. So I encourage my clients that you want to see it, right? So maybe this is putting an image next to each step that kind of symbolizes what that step is. Or maybe it's putting the reward that you're going to achieve when you hit each one of those steps, right? So you can get that satisfaction. So you can get really enthusiastic about achieving it, right? Because if you desire it, you will take the action to make it happen. So the next thing is get lean, right? What do you need to get rid of to make room for what you want? What do you need to eliminate? So let's eliminate distractions, right? Sometimes this is really focusing on feeling your best, right? Getting healthy rest, getting proper nutrition, getting proper hydration. I can tell you that if you're in pain, if you're uncomfortable, if you're unhappy, if you have injuries, you're not going to be at your best. And when you're not at your best, you're not as equipped to handle what life throws at you, right? So do what your body needs. Give it what it needs so that it can feel its best, right? Make sure that you're prioritizing what is important to you and putting it on your schedule so that you make sure you can make it happen, right? We want to take healthy motion breaks. We want to make sure that we're not just staying stagnant and still. We want to make sure that we get up and get that blood flowing and the oxygen going to the brain so that you can be in that momentum and that energy and that flow, right? We want to stop multitasking. Focus on one thing at a time. Right? Shut off all notifications, be mindful of your surroundings, declutter, minimize negativity, cut out the gossip, decrease the Netflix, social media. Maybe this is going lean in your finances. Really focus on what you're going to gain and give up the good to get the great, right? As we talk about eliminating negativity, I really wanted to touch base on self-talk, right? Negative self-talk, the power of words, right? We want to make sure that we're giving ourselves grace, eliminating self-talk so you can be at your best, right? We want to take out the self-criticism because it only sabotages your ability to focus and to do your best. We want to do imperfect action because it's better than perfect inaction, right? Stop procrastinating. Don't waste time. Just get it done. We want to let go. We want to let go of the excuses because they don't serve us, right? We want to let go of what we can't control, like our circumstances. We want to let go of things that no longer serve us and focus on what we can control, like our perceptions, our thoughts, our behaviors, how we react to things, right? We want to get lean of everything else. And I like to use this example about getting lean, about deciding what kind of life you actually want, and then saying no to absolutely everything else, right? I oftentimes encourage my clients to make a big list of everything that they want to achieve and that they desire and that they want to do. And then I tell them to prioritize it and only focus on the top 3. And that motivates them because they're going to get rid of everything else on their list and get crystal clear on what they have to do. And they want to get that stuff done because they want to get to the other things on their list, right? However, sometimes saying no can be difficult. So I put what really has worked for me and my clients on how to say no. There's so much good tips here. Take a look, right? And again, just email me at info@beyondimpossible.com and I'll send you the slides so you can refer back to this later. But it's only when you say no that you can concentrate on the things that really are important to you, right? So make sure that you get lean. And then lean is also leaning into structure, okay? There are so many times in my life when I kind of resisted doing this. I wanted to be creative. I wanted to do things by the spur of the moment, right? I wanted to do it my own way. But we have to have a plan because the plan makes us more efficient, right? The idea of being focused is when we have ease, not effort, right? It's not about working harder. It's about working more efficiently, easier. It's about making it smarter, not harder, right? So we want to get organized. You have to fall in love with building the identity of someone who does the work, not merely just dreaming about the results that you want to get, right? We have to fall in love with the process, the daily practice of doing it to become significantly better at anything and to fully enjoy the results, right? So we have to come up with that efficiency, right? We want to come up with that plan, get organized, and manage our energy, not our time. This is so important. Like if you're let's say a morning person, you're going to want to do the hardest thing first so that you are better equipped to handle it. So you're not exhausted or tired and you're at your best, right? And then you want to create these habits about managing your energy and your stress and your emotions. You want to have an organizational system to handle these things, right? You want them to then bridge the simple things to the more complex things so they're easier to get done. So they just become a routine. They become second nature, right? A routine of habits that is repeated consistently is how it becomes automated, how you don't have to think about it anymore. So that's what we want to do so that you can gain success. We want you to create that action plan. We do this with all of our clients, right? We want to figure out how to take you from where you are now to where you want to be and how to bridge that gap. And it's going to come down to breaking down that action plan into small, doable steps, right? They have to be achievable or you're never going to stick to it. You're never going to keep going. So focus on the progress, not the end result or the outcome, right? Less is more. Think back to that bow and arrow that I was talking about, or even the GPS example, right? We don't want it to be confusing. We want the directions to be as simple as possible so you're more likely to get there, right? You always want to use a structure so that you have a framework to work in. Okay, less is more, because what we need to do is be able to get into action. And there's a bunch of things here that I like to get clear on so that you have full grasp of how to truly do this, right? The first thing you have to do is break inertia. And that's the hardest part, I guarantee. You literally can stick your pinky toe in the right direction and it'll break that inertia. And then objects that are in motion will stay in motion. So the rest of it is kind of just keeping that ball rolling, which is so much easier than getting it going to begin with. So we'll talk more about the cue or the trigger that you need to be able to break that inertia. And then you have to expect the resistance, right? There's going to be that drag. There's going to be that resistance, those obstacles, those challenges. And you have to know that that's just part of the process. But if you create small, doable steps, then you're more likely to create those achievable wins and to build that confidence and that momentum. So you're more able to handle those obstacles when they come up, right? You have to understand that if you want to break an old habit or create a new habit or to create change, that you're going to have to get uncomfortable, right? You're going to have to do things that you've never done before in order to get things that you've never gotten before. So do it afraid, right? And then create that habit. Like I said, do mindful, manual labor until you get that consistency and that routine so that it becomes second nature. So you don't have to think about it anymore. So it doesn't require as much effort. And then how do you get that? It's with that consistency, right? When you do it, even when you don't want to. So getting into action can truly be boiled down to 4 components to create long-lasting change and success. This is so vital, right? We need that cue, that trigger to get us going, to activate us. So this is oftentimes paired with something simple that you already do consistently on a regular basis. Maybe this is brush your teeth. Maybe this is take medication. Whatever it is for you, you want to pair it to something that you're already doing. For example, if you want to take up running, maybe you put your running shoes right next to your bed. So when you wake up in the morning and you put your feet on the ground, they touch those shoes and you know that you have to get into that habit, that routine. You have to get that running going, right? This might be a situation where you want to journal. And so you want to take up that habit. So you put your journal right by your toothbrush. So when you wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth and then you see the journal and you get into action and you start that journaling, right? But again, in order to keep doing it, to do it consistently, you have to have these other components too. And one of the easiest ways to explain that is actually to explain the opposite, right? When we're trying to break a habit, right? The opposite of appealing and attracting is making it invisible and unattractive. So maybe this is you want to watch less TV, right? Then you might want to put the TV in a cabinet behind closed doors, right? So you literally can't see it without getting up and opening the closed doors. Or maybe you take the batteries out of the remote, right? So that you literally have to get up to get the batteries to put it back into the remote to enjoy that satisfaction of the TV that you were looking for, right? So you have to make it invisible and unattractive and hard and unsatisfying in order to break that habit. And if you want to build a habit, you want to do the exact opposite, right? You want to make it easy and attractive and appealing and achievable, right? Then the next thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you pair those things, those actions that you're taking, with a satisfactory reward, right? You want that instant gratification. Then you really continue the cycle so that it becomes a habit. And the example of this is on the bottom left, where the cue triggers the routine, which provides that satisfactory reward, which then connects to that cue, right? And then you know that if you keep doing it, it's going to keep happening. And that's how you can stick to it. That's how you can make long-lasting change that you can get into the habit of, so you don't even have to think about it anymore. Because remember, knowledge is power. But knowledge without action is useless, right? So we need to get into alignment. We need to align our goals to our values and why it's important to us. And there's a whole bunch of things that I outline on this page, but the most important thing is to really understand that if you make those doable steps, and some of the steps are not in alignment with your goals and they're out of line with your values, they'll challenge you and they'll create that drag, right? So relevance is the really important one here. You want to make sure that your actions are in line with your purpose, so you feel good about doing them, right? So they make sense, so you can see the value in the effort that you're putting in. You want to make sure that you're taking that ownership, right? That you're making sure that it aligns with what you want, right? That it becomes part of your everyday life, that you're practicing what you preach, right? If you want to be a writer, but you never write, you're not going to believe that you really have that identity, right? So it's going to be hard for you to achieve what you want, because if you don't believe it, it's going to be hard to achieve it, right? And then you also want to provide that reward, that satisfaction, right? So you can see that you're making effort, but you're getting a reward, right? That'll help motivate you. And then you want to make sure that you get committed, right? Consistent, committed action. So for this, I needed to touch base on, where are you at? Are you a lone ranger? Are you doing this on your own? Do you have a business partner or a relationship partner or a family or a team or coworkers? What do you need to do to set the expectations correctly? Do you need to get the family on board? Do you need to show the value of why you want to achieve what you want to achieve and what it will bring to them? You need to get their buy-in, right? You need them to understand why you're doing what you're doing, so it doesn't create that drag and that discomfort. You need to be disciplined, right? You need to be able to do it even when you don't want to show up for yourself, to create that confidence, that momentum that you're talking about, right? You need to be able to receive feedback. Be open, right? And curious. You have to measure your progress. If it matters to you, measure, right? Don't view measuring as a judgment to who you are. Just realize that it's feedback of where you are, right? So we have to be able to review, adjust accordingly, and don't quit, right? So this will help you use measurement to discover, to figure things out, to understand, to better understand yourself, to understand where you're actually spending your time, and is it on the things that are important to you, and to realize what really matters most, and to take the time to ignore everything else, right? You need to make sure that you have tangible, measurable ways to know that you're on the right track, so you can stay committed, so you can stay the course. So when we talk about commitment, I have to talk about staying the course, right? Because life is going to happen. It's going to get lifey. But discipline is about choosing between what you want now and what you want most. Decide what you want. and what you're willing to give up to give up to get it, right? Focus on what you want to gain instead of being afraid of giving up the good to get the great. You only fail when you give up, right? So we have to set that work-life plan so that you're empowered to feel your best, so you can do your best work, right? If your life is out of balance, if you're being pulled in one way or the other, you're not going to be at your best, right? So when you're happier and healthier, you're obviously going to do better. So decide what you want, make a plan, and work on it every single day, right? Decide what you want, make a plan to achieve it, and believe that you can have it. Work on it every single day, believe you deserve it, and believe that it's possible, right? We have to have that belief in order to achieve it. So you have the power to decide in this very moment. You can take action on just one thing that resonated with you during this presentation. You can utilize these tactics that I have found that work after years and so many failures that I've given you and shared with you for free, right? You can utilize the strategies that I've had others implement with my guidance to create massive long-term success. This I've shared with you for free, right? Or you could do nothing and just take these notes and put them away and stay the same. The choice is yours, right? I believe your future is worth taking action for. I promise if you reach out to me on Facebook, which is just Melanie Leigh Warner, you can see it at the bottom there, or email me at info@beyondimpossible.com, that I'll send you the notes from this presentation. And I would love to cheer you on, to hear how you succeed at every step of the way, right? Or even to help guide you one-on-one with coaching, right? The choice is yours. Choose wisely. Check out our other resources that we have on our website that are free, right? Beyondimpossible.com. There's services that are free on our services page. There's a whole bunch of different services that are free on our blog. But don't stop here. Stretch Beyond Impossible has so much more to offer, right? We love to show you how to make the seemingly impossible possible right before your eyes. So I'm going to stop sharing here because I just want to share my heart with you for a second. And I want to make sure that you realize that the secret sauce that I've shared with you has helped so many of my clients achieve what they want. So you now hold the blueprint to create that focus and to fearlessly pursue the life that you envision. So what's holding you back? Write it down. Is it a fact? Is it a story? Is it a habit that you need to change? What actions can you take right after this presentation that will help you achieve what you desire? We all need things, right? We need to drop the weight. We need to grow our business, get a promotion, take a vacation. But nothing changes if you change nothing. So don't forget that you have the power within. You have the power, so don't give it away. Instead, use it. You have it in your hands. What are you going to do with it, right? I need you to write down one action right now that you're going to take immediately following this. Maybe that's going to the website and utilizing our free resources. Maybe that's setting up a meeting to have a consultation with us, complimentary, to figure out the action plan that might work for you, right? Regardless of what action you take, I want you to remember that if you veer off course, if you hit a bump in the road, if there is an issue that arises, don't get discouraged. Don't quit. Instead, figure out what you can learn from it, right? Remember that every time you take that breath, it's an invitation or an opportunity for that blank canvas to let go of the past and to create more of what you want in the future. So I hope that this presentation has added value and motivation to gain clarity of the vision of what you want, to catapult you into action, to stretch beyond impossible, and to achieve everything that you set your mind to, and to become that dominant force in your life, to harness that power within, to create the life that you desire. Knowledge is power, but if you do nothing with the knowledge, it's useless. I hope that you get into action and make what you desire happen. Have a good day.